What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video I want to go over some basic resource prep that you can do right now leading into Shadowkeep when that launches on October 1st. I'm going to go over having things like Bright Dust, Legendary Shards, making sure that you have a nice amount of Glimmer. I also want to go into the consumables and look at things like Enhancement cores and mod components. You want to make sure you're maximizing your efficiency, stocking up on these resources so that when Shadowkeep does launch, you have enough to upgrade all your weapons and armor, to buy the cool stuff from the Eververse store, and also to just make sure that you are not caught unaware if there are changes that we don't quite know about yet and that require having those resources. YouTube stuff first, so if this video is helpful, hit that like button. It does make a difference. If it's really helpful, subscribe. It would make me happy if you guys came back here for videos and live streams. Also, too, random note, if you're a fan of Dragon Ball Super, let me know. I want to talk to you guys about that in the comments. It is my favorite show. So, let's jump right into this video. The first thing I want to talk about is Glimmer. Now, right now, the current cap for this is 100,000. Really easy to hit that cap, but with the Shadowkeep DLC, that's going to bump all the way up to 250,000. So you want to make sure that you are at 100,000 when Shadowkeep comes out, and also, too, that you have some things that will bump that up even more. So you might want to have some spider bounties saved up. Now, this would be more important towards the end of the current season, right before Shadowkeep comes out. You don't maybe want to have these sitting in your inventory for a long time, but if you go to Spider, he has a bunch of bounties. They will give you Glimmer. Now, it's not a whole lot, but he does have quite a few of these that you can do. They are really easy to get done. This one was just defeating enemies. So you may want to hold on to some of these right before Shadowkeep so that when it does launch, you can turn these in and get a bit more Glimmer. Now, you may be wondering, hey, why is it so important to have Glimmer? But part of that has to do with some of the changes they're making to the Eververse store. And that's going to be a nice segue here into Bright Dust. Right now, with Bright Dust, this is how you can not only buy things from the Eververse store. So if you go over here to our buddy Eva Levante in Fenchurch, she has some really cool wares, and they call us Bright Dust to buy things. So you're probably intimately familiar with these. Bright Dust, you can buy a number of cool things like the Micro Mini Sparrow. You can buy some of the cool emotes. And you can get this from either dismantling stuff or from doing the Eververse bounties. Now, the Eververse bounties are something that I had not maybe taken full advantage of, but these are easy to get done. You might as well pick these up. It's a nice way of getting stuff done as you're doing your other activities. One of the changes that they're making, though, to the Eververse store, and I will link a really nice and useful Reddit post in the description, but they're making some changes here, and you want to make sure that as you head into Shadowkeep, you are dismantling a bunch of your cosmetic items that you may have otherwise been holding on to. So for instance, this armor helmet right here, this is for my Titan. When Shadowkeep launches, the Eververse armor is going to be converted into ornaments. So you want to make sure that right now you are dismantling this stuff, because that's going to give you some Bright Dust. When Shadowkeep launches, those are going to be all ornaments, and I can apply those to any of my armor. It's part of their changes to the armor customization, so you can have the look and feel to your Guardian, but also to have the perks that you want to use that most benefit your playstyle. So when it comes to Bright Dust here, getting ready for Shadowkeep, make sure you're dismantling all that stuff right now. There's no reason to hold on to it, and that general theme will apply to this video throughout the entire thing. That is getting rid of a lot of your junk. You don't want to make sure that you have a lot of stuff in your vault or a lot of stuff on your character, because truth be told, outside of your absolute best armor, you probably want to get rid of most of the stuff here and stock up on Armor 2.0 things when Shadowkeep launches. But with Bright Dust, make sure you are dismantling things. You also, too, may want to look at some of the different cosmetic items as far as your ships and sparrows, because a lot of these can break down into a lot of Bright Dust. So if I break down this ship right here, for instance, Hullborn Splint, if I break this thing down, I think it gives me 500 Bright Dust. Yeah, so this will give me a nice amount. Look at your ships, look at your sparrows, and your ghost shells. That's going to be a nice way of getting Bright Dust. If you can have more of this heading into Shadowkeep, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff, I bet, in the Eververse store when that launches. So having a good bit of this will be important. Now, looking ahead, though, they are going to make things like Vanguard strikes, like the milestones that you would normally do. Those are going to give you Bright Dust in the future. And that's going to be how you get your Bright Dust, not from dismantling things. But all the more reason for right now to clean out your inventory, stock up on Bright Dust, and then when Shadowkeep launches, you have a good amount to buy whatever you want. So we've covered Glimmer, we've covered Bright Dust. Those are going to be your most important things. One more thing about Glimmer. I know that in the past you could go to your collections and pick up things like a ghost shell or a sparrow. So if I go to my ghost shells here, I know in the past this Alchemical Dawn shell was really cheap. Now you can see here they bumped that cost up quite a bit. Same thing applies here to vehicles. So if I go to my sparrows here, I know that in the past you could have bought the, what is it, the other side sparrow, and that was from, I think, a Nightfall. You could grab this and be really cheap to buy, and when you dismantle it, you would basically come out ahead when it comes to Glimmer. Now you can see they bumped that up, so you can no longer really do that. You're going to have to rely on the bounties from Spider, and then maybe too having things like the Rainmaker consumable. That's going to be a nice way of getting some extra Glimmer and having some when Shadowkeep launches. So they've cut down on our options here, but that's alright. There's other ways you can get around it, and Glimmer is not too hard to get, but you might want to have a nice amount of that because of those changes to Eververse. So we've gone over Glimmer and Bright Dust. Legendary shards are also going to be super important. Now, there's a good chance here that if you are dismantling a bunch of your stuff right now, anything you're getting, that you're going to bump that total up quite a bit. So if I look at my character here, yeah, am I ever going to use this Tangled Web Hood? Nope, get rid of it. So I'm going to dismantle nearly all of my stuff, and that's going to give me a bunch of legendary shards. So that should be your best practice right now. So do your milestones, do all those things. Any legendary that you pick up in the wild, dismantle it. Also, check out your vault. Make sure you're dismantling any extras that you have, especially when it comes to your exotic weapons. Like, for instance, I have a couple exotic weapons here where I have duplicates. So if I'm going through here and I notice that I have 2 hard lights, for instance, get rid of them. I'm going to dismantle this one. It doesn't matter that it's not 7, or this one's 750 and this one's not. Everything when Shadowkeep launches is being bumped up to 750. So right now you should not be infusing anything. And Luke Smith more or less kind of confirmed that in his director's cut article that he's been producing. Don't infuse anything. Save all of your resources. So just get rid of any duplicates that you have. Look at the perks, for instance, here when it comes to legendaries. You may want to keep the absolute best perks that you have, but dismantle these things here. Clean out your vault. There's no reason for me to have 3 of these bows here. So I'll keep the one that I like the most. Get rid of everything else. I'm going to get rid of any duplicate exotics that I have. When it comes to the weapons, for the armor, I'll be a bit more careful for that because I don't want to get rid of some really good perks by chance. But I don't need 2 colonies, so I'm going to get rid of one of these. Make sure you go into your vault, clean this thing out, clean your characters out, and anything you're getting in the wild right now for milestones or just random drops, get rid of it by and large. That's going to give you a lot of legendary shards, and that's also going to give us a lot of Gunsmith materials, and that's important because of changes that they're making to our buddy Banshee. Banshee's going to have Banshee grams. He's going to have engrams that are unique to him. These are Gunsmith rewards that you can get from Banshee, and I can get those by turning in my Gunsmith materials, like the weapon parts as well as the weapon telemetry. So these are going to be other things you want to stock up on. Do not get rid of these. Do not turn them in right now. Make sure you save those so that when Shadowkeep comes out, you can turn these in, get some really cool, sweet things from him, and that will be one of the best things you can do right now is saving your materials. You also, too, probably want to do as many of these bounties as you can. These don't cost you much. They only cost a little bit of Glimmer. They're easy to get done. They'll give you mods, which are nice. You may want to have some of those and hold on to them right now, even with the changes they're making to the mod system. But they're also going to give you mod components, really, really good, and they're going to give you enhancement cores. So do every single one of these bounties every single day if you can, as much as time permits. That's going to let you stock up on components and enhancement cores. Do not buy any of the mods that he has right now. I know in the past I've said, I think with the changes they're making to the mod system, you're better off to not spend your mod components. So while it may be tempting for me to buy this super mod right now, there's a good chance that you may already have some of these, and super mods are being changed anyway, so you probably don't want to spend any of your materials on these. But there's a good chance that from all the legendaries that you're getting, you may find some mods on those. So I would be really, really cautious and really cheap when it comes to spending my materials here. So buy all of Banshee's bounties here, stock up on your enhancement core, stock up on your other materials, and this will be a nice thing to do going forward, along with not spending your Gunsmith materials. Now this was a nice segue here into enhancement cores and mod components. We know that having these will be important. Based on their reveal the other day, enhancement cores will be a really important part of upgrading your weapons and armor as we go into Shadowkeep. Those are going to be required to bump up your armor and get it to the point where you can masterwork it. I know there's also going to be enhancement prisms and ascendant shards, and I will make some videos on those in the future when more concrete details come out. But make no mistake, having a good amount of enhancement cores will be important. So not only do you want to make sure you're grabbing the bounties from Banshee to get enhancement cores, but you also too want to grab the bounties from Spider. Now we talked about the Glimmer bounties that he has, but he also has other bounties that give you enhancement cores. So these ones do cost ghost fragments, and they start at 3 ghost fragments. I would recommend only getting the ones that cost 3, because that way you can get more of them. These will give you enhancement cores as well as legendary gear. By and large, that legendary gear that you get, break that down. You don't need it. You want to get the materials from it. So grab the bounties from both Spider and from our buddy Banshee, and make sure you're doing those to get the enhancement cores and the mod components. I know that the materials exchange method from Spider is far and away the best way of doing it, and I will link a video. I've gone over that before, but you can buy materials from Spider for legendary shards, turn those in at your respective vendor, whether it be Brother Vance, whether it be Devram K in the EDZ. That's going to give you a lot of gear back, and you're going to be able to dismantle that into hopefully legendary shards that come from masterwork gear. Now, part of this, though, to be honest, it does have a bit of a balancing act here, because if I utilize that method, and like I said, I'll link that in the description, if I utilize that method, it's going to cost me legendary shards. Now, I will get back a lot of those, but I'm not going to get back every single one that I had. So while in one hand I'm saying don't spend anything, if you're going to use that method, it does involve spending things, but you're basically, more or less, you're converting one resource into another. So I would utilize that one, especially if you're low on enhancement cores. You probably want to utilize that. And truth be told, if you're going into your different characters here and dismantling most of your legendary gear, if you're going into your vault and dismantling all of your duplicate exotic weapons, you're going to probably have a nice amount of legendary shards from that anyway, so it might be worthwhile to do that. But that would be, I think, your best bet, making sure that you do all these bounties to bump up your enhancement cores, making sure that you utilize the Spider materials exchange method to give yourself an even more of a jump when it comes to your enhancement cores and having a good amount of those. Dismantle any Eververse armor that you have right now that's going to be made into ornaments anyway. Dismantle extra ghost shells that you have. Dismantle extra ships that you have in Sparrows. That's going to give you a lot of bright dust. You want to be rolling into Fenchurch and Evil Levante on October 1st, ready to buy anything. Now, there are some exceptions to that. If you want to get this cool micro mini and you don't want to spend real money, yeah, spend the bright dust on it right now because it's really cool. But for the most part, you should be saving up bright dust and stockpiling your reserves here as much as you can. If this video is helpful, guys, like I said, hit that like button. I want to see you guys come back here. I am super excited for Shadowkeep, and I cannot wait to play it with you guys. Let me know in the comments below as well if you're going to switch when cross save comes out. I want to hear from you guys if you're going to switch from console to PC, if you're going to switch from one console to the other. Let me know in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. You are the absolute best. I appreciate all the support. Best of luck here as we finish out Solstice. Best of luck as we finish out Season of Opulence and heading into the Moon's Haunted Shadowkeep era. Thank you so much. We'll catch up soon. See you guys later.